Well, good afternoon, everybody. This is Kathleen Bertrand with BronzeLens Film Festival, and I'm excited to join you today, or have you join us for what's going to be a very interesting conversation with filmmaker, director, what's the other word he uses? Storyteller, Dui Jarrod. We are just so excited about having him with us today. So I have a few announcements that I want to share with you. Y'all know I can't see this little bitty writing on here. Hey, who is this? Any Hoot? Okay. Thank you for joining us. Let me see who else is here that I see. Tandy, thank you. I can't wave at you. By the way, y'all, our BronzeLens digital manager is Rhea Posey. And so Rhea's going to be in the thread with us and in the comments if you have any questions or something that needs answering. When you hear from Rhea, she is speaking on behalf of BronzeLens. Okay, so I just wanted you to know that. Do Films, thank you for joining us. Let me see, Maddie Moi, is that how I say it? Joined us. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. So while we're waiting for Dewey and waiting for a few more people to come into the room, I wanted to remind you that BronzeLens has a newsletter that keeps you up to date about everything that we do forever and a day. If you're not getting it, go to our website, which is bronzelens.com, bronzelens.com, and just scroll all the way to the bottom, and it will show you, just click in, and you'll be signed up for the newsletter immediately. Right now, we come out at least twice a month, but during this series that we're doing with our filmmakers and other folks with BronzeLens Live, then we're doing it every week. So just make sure that you keep up to date with us with our BronzeLens newsletter. Go to the website. You're already following us on Instagram. We're also on Facebook. And you know, Facebook is where we do our major announcement when it's time to announce the official selections of the festival. That's going to happen via Facebook Live, and I have some more things to tell you about that. And then I want you to save the date of June 17th. June 17th, 2 weeks from now, because we're going to be making a lot of announcements about BronzeLens and just the things that you should look out for from the festival. We're very excited about some changes that are going on and ways that we get to support our filmmakers. So just whatever it is that you're doing, make sure that you tune in with us on June 17th. And you know, of course, I'm going to send out lots of announcements to make sure that everybody is tuned in with us. But it's quite an interesting year. I don't have to tell you that. 2020 came in and we didn't know what to put together with the 20 and the 20. Do you say 2020 or do you say 2020? And it's been like a question mark ever since January 1st, from the pandemic to our current state of unrest, our current state of resistance, our current state of wanting change more than ever before. I have to share with you that I'm of the era that remembers what it was like to sit in the back of the bus. And when the Civil Rights Bill passed, and it sounds eons ago, but in my head, that wasn't that long ago. And we have consistently sought change after change and better. We wanted it better. We wanted full rights, full access to everything. And it's been a constant struggle. I have a friend that likes to say the struggle is real. And that has been a consistent struggle for people that look like me. And at some point, you just don't even understand why or how, or maybe you understand both the why and the how this is still happening. But I know I had hoped that my children would have a different life at this time. I thought that the the short-lived, now in retrospect, gains were things that would make a difference in the country so that my children would not have to worry about if someone's following them because they're black, or if someone is profiling them because they're black, or if someone is following them around the store because they're black, because all of those are things that have happened consistently throughout my life. So I thought it would be a better world. I thought we would have done things in a way that kept something permanent in place for this next generation. And so now this next generation is speaking, and it's letting us know that they want change for their lives and their future lives and their children's lives as well. So I'm certainly supporting the protests that are going on as personally and as a festival. We want to be behind the right side of our seeking for justice. Let me see. Dewey's here. So Dewey, go ahead and request in, and I think I'll be able to bring you in. Our guest of honor is almost here, and I'm so happy that you've made this time. Okay. Go live with Dewey. There it is. And go live with wDuiJarrod. Ladies and gentlemen, I think he's on the way. Let's see, did everything go through? Try it again, Dewey, because something happened in the connection. Can you hear me okay? Just try it again and we will get our program started. I know it's, what is it, West Coast time, 11-ish? It's not allowing you to come in? Are you serious? But you're my guest of honor, Rhea. Is there anything that you can chime in to and help us get Dewey live with us today? Anything that you can do? I hear you, but the screen is frozen. Really? Okay, is anyone else having that issue? Anybody else? Is everybody else clear? Dewey, why don't you come out of it and come back in? Ah, Rhea just said that very same thing. So come out and come back in, and let's see if we can make it work, okay? Dui Jarrod joined. Okay, I see you. All right. And he sent a request. All right. There it is. And let's go live. Waiting. And I think it's coming. And there he is.
Hi. How are you?
I'm wonderful. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you, but I can't see your screen, actually.
You can't see my screen?
I can, but it may be my technical difficulties on this side. I'm not really sure, but
okay,
way,
because I can see you.
Okay, I can see you too.
Okay, all right, awesome. Hey, Dewey.
Hey. How are you doing?
I'm good. I mean, all things considered, you know, yesterday, y'all, Dewey and I had a little rehearsal just to make sure that we could do this. And, you know, we talked about the fact that this is a difficult time for everybody. It's difficult to try to push through and stay on focus and get your work done. How are you handling what's going on now?
It's been really interesting. I've had a series of emotions. I'm actually working on a Black trauma series about an injustice that we had. So it's like creatively, I'm focusing on Black trauma. In the world, we have Black trauma, and then because of the pandemic, there's no outlet for either one. So it's been difficult creatively and emotionally, especially for me as a Black man. But you know, we soldier on because that's what we're raised to do.
Well, you know, it's funny because as a song person that sings and a songwriter, I've been just tussling with my emotions as to what to write, you know, and I don't know if creatively anyone else is having those challenges, because it's easy to write from anger and put it down on paper, but then I've got to make it make sense. It can't just be outburst and disillusionment. I'm trying to give some hope. So I'm in the process of songwriting as well. And it has just been a challenging period. And then, as I was saying earlier, I'm from a different era, and so some of this I've seen before.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's part of the frustration is like, why are we still struggling?
Yep.
Why is this still an issue? I have been a child, grown up, had children, and now they're grown and they're experiencing same. And it's just so hard to believe that the world for my children is not what I thought it was going to be. It's very disheartening, very disheartening. And I don't know, did your parents give you the talk?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I was raised in a very racist part of Arkansas. I mean, we were an extremely privileged community, but it was still a community that had a lot of microaggressions and did not affirm us as young Black people and the possibilities of what we could become. So my parents absolutely gave us the talk when we were growing up. And I'm thankful for it because it gave me a more refined experience on how to deal with racism and its terrible effects.
You know, and I think for people that view us for perhaps from other countries or even of other races, you don't know what it's like until you have to sit down and tell your child what not to expect because of the color of their skin, or what to expect that's not going to be good because of the color of their skin, or to be prepared if you're stopped by the police, or to be prepared if someone is following you in the store, be prepared if you're confronted with direct racism. That's a very difficult conversation to have with our children. And now we're having to say it younger and younger because it has unfortunately filtered down to even elementary school level. And that is just so sad for me. So I'm saying all that to say, you, filmmakers like you, continue to keep a fresh perspective and a fresh face on not only current issues today, but there's several things that are going on in our community that don't get light. And you provide that light, and we are so grateful for what it is that you do. I mean, look at King Ester. Oh my goodness. Oh
Oh
my
my
goodness.
goodness.
Oh my goodness. So let me give y'all a little bit of background about Dewey, just about even this recent stuff, because this is pretty amazing. You heard Dewey say that he's from Arkansas. He created his first film at 11 about Noah's Ark. I love that. But his most recent success comes from the dramatic digital series Issa Rae Presents King Ester, which took a closer look at the life of a trans woman in pre-Katrina New Orleans. The series was screened at some of the top festivals, including BronzeLens Film Festival, where he won Best Web Series in 2019, Frameline 43, American Black Film Festival, and Catalyst Film Festival. The haunting period piece picked up numerous other awards along the way, with wins in the Best Director and Best Cinematography categories. The series was named Best Web Series of 2019 by Black Talent TV, where they noted Jarrod by saying, unsurprisingly, Jarrod created a masterpiece with exquisite cinematography, yes it is, and a truly moving story. So now we have much history with BronzeLens, but there's some exciting stuff going on for you right now, Dewey. Why don't you tell everybody about your latest accolade?
Well, just announced a week and a half ago, we found out that Issa Rae Presents King Ester has been nominated for 4 Daytime Emmy Awards, which is the highest achievement that one could achieve with independent digital content like we did. Rowan Amon, our series lead, was nominated in lead actress. Janet Huber, the original Aunt Viv, she was nominated for Outstanding Supporting Actress. And I received 2 nominations in the Outstanding Directing and Outstanding Screenwriting.
What? Oh my goodness, don't you just love it? Yes, all of that. All of that. So when did you know, did you submit the nomination, or was that something that the production company did? How does that process work?
Yeah, so we worked really closely with the production company to submit our nominations. And unfortunately, again, because of the disadvantage that we have as African American creators and content creators, we weren't able to submit as many nominations that we had liked to submit. And so it was submitted, it was very expensive. And then we just had to submit everything and just wait. And we were really blessed to be on the short list. And I really thought that was the win. I was like, you know, I created something purely from my consciousness. There's no way this will go beyond the short list. So I was promoting like I made the short list. And then when the nominations came out, they only nominated five directors and five writers. And everything else that was nominated came from Netflix and Amazon and me.
Wow.
Nobody
You're in great company there. What?
Listen, we punching well above our weight. Well above our weight. We are definitely David, and we fighting Goliath.
So when do you find, what's the date that you find out what's up?
So right now there's a campaign going on because people don't realize you don't just win awards. Like you don't just become an Oscar winner. There's a submission process, and then there's also a process called campaigning, which you create avenues in order for the Emmy voters to be able to support your project. And so fortunately, doing things like this with BronzeLens Film Festival continues to help raise our profile. But we'll find out on the award ceremony, which will be virtual this year on CBS on June 26th at 7 p.m.
June 26th at what time?
At 7 p.m.
Okay. And it's virtual, so what is that, CBS Online or something like that?
No, so it's actually going to be on the network, but they'll be live streaming from our homes. So all the nominees will have a direct connection. I'm going to wear a tuxedo. I'm going to be fly like I was at the BronzeLens award ceremony every year. I'm going to do it anyways. I don't care that we don't get to be at the place. I care that we don't get to do the Getty images. This is an award. This is a celebration of my work. So I'm going to treat it just as if I was there.
Absolutely. I love it. So, of course, you know, I've noted that date. We will put it out there in our newsletter so that people can support you, pray for you, cheer for you, because this is such an important step in your trajectory that I see. This is one step, but you are in that space now where you will be relating to, contacting, in touch with people that are on a totally different level, Dewey. You know.
Thank you. I feel it. I feel it in my heart, and it's just amazing. I shout out to Issa Rae, Denise Davis, Jabriel Henning, and Richard and Benoni over at Issa Rae Productions and Color Creative for giving us the platform, because I highly doubt that we would get it without them. And shout out to the two Black men that came before me that were nominated also in these categories, which was James Bland and Ronnie and Caleb Davis.
That's awesome. That's awesome of you to remember that. So before there was King Ester, you had another web series that came to BronzeLens, and that went on to TV too. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, so back in 2017, I got with Raven Drummer, which is Tyler Perry's casting director, and we decided to try to gain our foothold in this industry. We wanted to be a part of it. We want to be making content. As Black creators, we know that we're not given opportunities. We have to take them. And we made an 8-episode web series called Brooklyn Blue Sky that we filmed here in 4 days. And we took it to 2 film festivals. Unbeknownst to us, we just was taking them. We didn't think anything would happen. We ended up winning American Black Film Festival. We were like, wait, okay. And then we go to BronzeLens, and we won that festival too. And we were like, wait, what's going on? And right after BronzeLens, some executives at BET were on hand for both of those film festivals. And we're like, maybe there's something to this series. So we garnered a deal with BET, and we put it out in 2018.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. So, you know, there's a consistency to your approach. I mean, it's not just a one-time hit it and, oh, yeah, we did it. And I mean, you have to keep going and come back for more and try it again. That's with anything, but especially as a filmmaker, because there's so many avenues now. And so which one do you choose? So we're very grateful that you chose to send your babies to BronzeLens, you know,
it was a
and
pleasure.
allow our audiences to screen them. And we're also very grateful that you've always been so giving of your time and your talent. You will lead a panel for us or be a participant with just a phone call, and we appreciate that so much. It is about family, but it's also about sharing and reaching back, and you've just been tremendous at doing that, so thank you very much for that.
It's my pleasure. I appreciate the platform.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So I have a couple of other things I want to talk to you about. One of them is the fact that as an African American male in the industry, what are the particular challenges that you feel you have faced because of the color of your skin?
Well, it's interesting. I don't think that journey is unfamiliar to any of us. And I think across the board, whether you're a doctor or a teacher, you're going to face some type of system that is designed not to affirm who you are and what your vision actually is. But fortunately, because I am a man, I have had the privilege of being able to walk in certain doors that a lot of my Black sisters haven't been able to walk into purely by the privilege that I was just born with and received. And so for me, the main challenge is, I think what happened in the early 90s when you had a lot of the young Black men to kind of step up and start doing really amazing work, they didn't necessarily reach back for their sisters, right? So there were not a lot of opportunities for Black women filmmakers. So then when Black women executives started to get some of these big opportunities, because they noticed that there was a marginalization of the Black narrative as pertains to Black women, a lot of Black women started getting the opportunities that they deserved in an excellent way, and they started winning television. So it's been, because of my Black brothers, it's been a little bit more difficult for me as a younger Black man trying to gain my foothold, because now a lot of the series, women make sure they give opportunities to other women, as they should and as they deserve to. But you know, it'll be television series, and they're only looking for Black female writers, or they're only looking for Black female directors, and that's beautiful and it's necessary. But it kind of leaves the young Black men kind of out to pasture a little bit, because when our leaders were in those spaces, they didn't do a lot of pulling us up and forward. And so the younger ones, we're just out here, and all we can do is create. Like, that's the only opportunities that we have. And a lot of us don't have the financial means at, you know, relevant ages to do what we need to do. So those are really the challenges. I think it kind of came from that. But it was the system at Hoves that caused all of those problems, if that makes sense.
Yes, absolutely, because women were being marginalized in great numbers, just like over there. And in fact, the reason that the Women's Superstars Luncheon started at BronzeLens was to pay attention to women. And it was not to exclude the men, because they were still doing great and wonderful things, but nobody was giving any love to the women that were directors and producers and screenwriters, et cetera, et cetera. And so that's really why the Superstars Luncheon started. But then we started Sunday Brunch with the Brothers so that, you know, make sure that the brothers knew that there's some love there too, because we didn't want anyone to not get their sunshine, you know. There's tremendous creativity in our community, and I'm always talking about the stories that we bring forth. It's all about our stories that could sometimes just be ignored. And the great thing about the festival is that we get such a diversity of storytellers, such a diversity from people from around the world, or from originally from Arkansas, like you.
Yes, and not only that, you also celebrate them. So one of the challenges that we had, and I mean, I'm just holding court in church with you today because I feel like I'm in a safe space to do so. But whenever we brought our narrative, which is the narrative of a Black trans woman in New Orleans trying to get out of Hurricane Katrina's path, whenever we took that to the white film festivals, we were always celebrated. We were always celebrated. But when we went to the Black festivals, we didn't receive nearly as much love. We did get love. I'm not saying that we didn't receive love, but we didn't get the same amount of love. And it was beautiful to see BronzeLens celebrate the festival, and not just because we were able to win, but because the money that we received from Time Warner and you guys provided us access and opportunities to do our submission to the Daytime Emmys. So it wasn't just a emotional
Wow.
win; it was also a financially necessary and expedient, because without that money, we would have had to come out of our own pockets, which Black people have to do all the time. So I'm
Wow.
saying that economic justice and the platform that you put together have done far more than just give us a platform. It's also become the conduit for us to be able to get a Daytime Emmy Award nomination.
Oh my goodness. Oh, don't make me cry. Bobby Huntley almost did that last
Don't
week. I'm
cry.
not gonna let you.
Don't cry.
Took too long to put these lashes on. Okay, I can't do that. You can't do that. So, from your perspective, then, when you look back, and you're still very young, so there's not a whole lot of looking back, but when you look at this next group of filmmakers that are coming forth, um, it's a different world, you know. I just read an article this morning about AMC theaters saying it may never be the same again, and I don't know. I didn't go deep, but I understood where, just from they're talking about, people sitting next to each other until we get on the other side of this pandemic and vaccine and all of that, or studios going straight to a digital platform or straight to streaming. It's a different world for our young filmmakers. What words of advice would you share with the filmmakers that are coming along at this time?
Well, it's interesting because what I find is the universe is a circle, right? And things always seem to be able to come back around. So the challenges that most of these entities have faced is the bigness of what they've put together. The only reason why
Mm-hmm.
AMC would be so disturbed is because they have thousands of theaters all across the country. But a lot of Black places only have one or two theaters in the city at most that were
Mm-hmm.
celebratory of our work. So the advantage
Mm-hmm.
that we have now is they have to go back to playing small ball. And that's what we do. The young Black small creator, we know how to
Mm-hmm.
make a production with a team of 30. Netflix
Mm-hmm.
doesn't necessarily have that challenge, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so what
Mm-hmm.
I've seen in a lot of conversations is they're looking for those filmmakers like myself, like a Logan Coles, like Bobby Ashley, like Bobby Huntley, young filmmakers who can be nimble, be quick, and shoot content and still be able to get it out. So we have a really special advantage, and it would be even at more of an advantage if you've already displayed the acumen to be able to deliver that. But making
Mm-hmm.
content is going to be the key, high quality content that's both written well and also directed extremely well.
Oh, I love it. I love it. So these various streaming platforms that are there, the fact that you started with a web series just going straight to your audience is something that, Issa Rae got an award from Bronze Lens way before Insecure started, because we recognized the fact that she had a web series called Adventures of Awkward Black Girl that was being seen around the world. And she didn't have a deal with, you know, and the fact that you can just go and reach your audience straight now without, it's always great to have the other support as well, because that helps you broaden your message. But the fact that so many filmmakers can just put it out there and go straight to your audience, and if you've got a wide enough audience or people that are watching, and now explain to me when somebody drops in your DM. Okay, I know that's terminology. I'm not sure, but
That's
to
okay, you
have
good.
celebrities drop in your DM about something that they've seen, it's just an amazing way you can reach your audience, reach the public, reach the masses without any help. But we always need some help, but you can get to them. And that's what I admire about the filmmakers that come to Bronze Lens, because that's what I say, thank you for entrusting your baby with us, because we know for every single filmmaker, there's a crew behind them. It might be, the support might solely be mom and daddy, or other people that helped fund them. There's the concept, there's the schooling that they put in, the time that they did other projects before all of that came together to bring it to someplace like a Bronze Lens. So we appreciate every filmmaker. That's why we make a big deal of them when they come to Bronze Lens, because we know that it's taken a lot of work, like yourself.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely, absolutely. So there's a little game I like to play.
Okay.
It's called Four Words. There are two games I like. Four words. They have a number. I'm not going to tell you what they are. I'm not going to give you any. But the words are things that I have noticed that it's consistent with great filmmakers, great content creators. These words are collaboration, passion, perseverance, creativity. So pick a number from 1 to 4, and you're going to land on one of those words. Pretend you're spinning some big wheel, okay? Yes.
Number
Okay.
one.
Number one. Number one is perseverance.
Okay.
Speak to perseverance in your work.
Well, honestly, I think perseverance is the difference. A lot of people ask me, like, well, what's the difference in, an Issa Rae versus like a Carlton Jordan versus a Bobby Huntley versus somebody that did one film and never did anything ever again? And the idea is perseverance, because people don't realize the challenges that we as young Black creators face. And it's not just economic. It's also getting the belief in you and your program. It has been able to go negotiate with somebody whose rate is supposed to be $1,500 a day, and you can only afford $150. So you have to level and be really smart. And so the perseverance that we have to use in order to get into these platforms. And one of the things in the agencies that I'm appreciative of is that what I've seen with the young creators nowadays, that my brothers that are a generation or two ahead of me, is we're all collecting together based on the work, not necessarily based on the fame, right? And so if your work is good, we support. That's why I can speak James Bland's name. That's why I can speak Anissa Foley's name. That's why I can say, all of these people's names, because we all support each other and we're all pretty much at the same level, and we're just using our perseverance. And that's the thing that I think we all really connect on. And that's what I see in other young Black creators that make me fall in love with them in their journey as well.
When I was growing up, they called it stick-to-itiveness.
That's it. That's it.
But, and we talked about it earlier, that you got to keep coming back and just stick with it and keep coming back. So, yeah, you're preaching today. So because you're so special, pick another number.
2.
2. This should be beautiful. It's creativity.
Oh, shoot. Well, creativity is important, but you know what creativity is really based, what I find that's beautiful is the authenticity within that creativity. Because a lot of times you see people that be biting, they do what they see another creator do because that's successful. So you'll see, a show about 4 girlfriends, and then you'll see another show about 4 girlfriends. And then you'll see another show about 4 girlfriends. And before you know it, all of these narratives are important because we need to see them, right? We need to see as many women on the screen as possible. And we need to see as many Black men as possible. But we are not monolithic. And I think that's the thing that really helped my series, King Ester, is that it put a new narrative of family out there that we had never seen before. Most people don't even know what Pigeon Town, New Orleans is all about, right? So I was able to bring, in a creative way, a new narrative forward that was steeped in authenticity. And because people can feel it and they can see it, then they can participate. And then because I was aligned and had my purpose come together, that's how I was able to get forward movement.
And you fall in love with your characters in King Ester. Just there's a connection. So the connection for me was when Esther went to the very first. She went to the mall for her modeling tryout, and there was a sign on the door about the storm coming. And you just felt all of that. Great acting as well, but you just felt it for the character. It had nothing to do with anything else but that she was so looking forward to this and trying to get money from people and all this. And you get there and it's closed because the storm is coming in. So that's why I can't wait to see the rest of the series. By the way, tell everybody, where can we go to see the full series of King Ester?
Sure. So all you have to do is go over to YouTube and put Issa Rae Presents King Ester, or you can, shameless plug, put Dui Jarrod King Ester. let me help me get a little of those SEO credits out here in these streets.
Yes,
And
come
you just
on.
put it in, and it'll pop up. And then not only do I have this series, but I have an adjacent series called Red Cups and Rosé, which kind of breaks down each episode, and I take one topic and I discuss it more at length. So it's it'll give you a couple of hours of content and to give you something to do while we rest up to go out here and start protesting again.
Okay, all right. So say that again. You can go to Rhea. Maybe we can repeat this in the thread. Go to YouTube and put in Issa Rae Presents
King Ester.
King Ester, yep. And it will pop up. And the other was go to what other thing we can search is your name?
You can search my name and King Ester, and it'll bring it up as well.
Okay, excellent. Okay, so then my other little game that I love to play is called Show Me Yours, and I'll show you mine.
Okay.
What you got?
Okay, what you got? Hold on one second.
Okay, we're holding. Ding, 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 ding. No, that's the wrong show, right? Waiting for Dewey. Oh my goodness! Look at this! Look at this!
BET got this for me after Brooklyn Blue Sky came out, and this is all the cast members of the series. In it, Michael Oloyede and Janelle Simone were the leads of the series. They did an incredible job, and BET surprised me with that gift. And
I love it.
All their names assigned. It's going to be worth millions in a few years. And I'm going to sell that bitch on eBay.
Yes, I love it. I love it. Well, I have something that I've been saving since last Thursday just to show today. And it is, bam, I voted.
Our power of our vote.
I voted. The power of our vote.
Yes.
So if you haven't voted, wherever you are, and there is a primary or something coming up, make sure that you are connected, because that is where things get moved forward. President Barack Obama just said the other day that we still have to remember that we have to start and be concerned about local. Yes, we're concerned about 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, but you got to be concerned about local. So I voted, and they had sent me this mail ballot and stuff, but I kept hearing people saying one thing or the other. And I said, you know what, I'm going to put my mask on.
Get out there.
And I'm going to go vote in and out in 15 minutes. And on the BronzeLens website, we have in one of the sliders, you can find, there's something that says vote. And you can click below, and it tells you, directs you to whatever the information you might need for your state. So we just want y'all to be empowered, not only creatively, but also politically. And the power of this is real important. $1 million. All right, so now let's open up for questions. Enough of my games. Any questions that you guys have for Dewey while we are on here? I'm going to have to put my glasses on so I can see as they pop up. Thank you, William Roebuck. Good to see you again. Yes, vote. Questions for wDuiJarrod, y'all? Okay. When did you move to Los Angeles?
I moved to Los Angeles in January of 2019.
Uh-huh. Oh, so you just got out there?
Yeah, I did, but I thought that the industry was going to come to me in New York, and if I was excellent, I thought it was just going to come to me, but that just really is not what happened. You have to be a part of the industry because they're entrusting millions of dollars into you, and if they don't necessarily know you, then they're not necessarily going to give you that money and those resources. So moving to LA has provided such a quicker start for me in my career. I was able to take the momentum that I had already created from Brooklyn Blue Sky and King Ester, and I've been really able to make some things happen out there. So a lot of people think you can just make it where you are, and that does matter because you have to learn your craft where you are. But to really transform your career, it was vitally important for me to move to LA, and I'm glad that I made the change.
So interesting that you would move to LA. You said, I thought the work would come to me and I had to go where the work was. What is it about LA that gave you what you needed?
Was access to the industry. And one of the things that you really don't see, you don't see all the active young Black executives that are a part of the industry in a very meaningful way. So like Crystal Porter or Olivia Charmaine, who works at Simpson Street now. It's a lot of young Black men and women who are now in positions of power. And in those
Mm-hmm.
positions of power, they can give you access in a way they weren't able to before. Davia Carter, Davia Carter over at Chronicle Media. So there's
Mm-hmm.
a different game that's being played right now. And if it was still just white people in power, we wouldn't have those same opportunities. I've had meetings with HBO, Netflix, um, Warner Brothers, so many different A24 since I've been there, and that would have only happened when I was able to be there because there's so many creative people that are already there. So it's just really important that you go where the game is played, and the game is played in
I
LA
love
for
it.
television. So you got to go there.
I love it. The game is played in LA for television. Thank you.
It
Noted for that. Someone asked, how did you connect with your collaborators for your first project?
For my first project, it was people that were kind of already in my sphere, which is
Mm-hmm.
interesting that I was able to do that. I don't do that anymore. I have
Mm-hmm.
a backup to the backup for the backup because I'm not with the
Mm-hmm.
bullshit. And so I just approach how I collaborate now, since I know I have some type of creative excellence and it's a level that I'm trying to reach. I also work with other people who have displayed that level of creative excellence as well. I
Mm-hmm.
also
Mm-hmm.
don't interview their references. I go find my own references to interview because the truth is in the wash, not in what they send you. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
so I
Mm-hmm.
collaborate way, way different than I did when I first started. In the beginning, it was
Mm-hmm.
literally my friends was holding boom mics. My brother was helping me negotiate stuff. You know, my
Yes.
attorney was actually a tax attorney. It wasn't even a film attorney. And so I just play a different game now because I'm playing at a different level, and I'm grateful for that. So yeah, be very cautious of who you collaborate with and how. It's important.
All right. I love it. Another question is, you can invariably get this, and I think you mentioned something. What's your next project? What do you have coming up next? People always ask what's next. So,
Yeah, no, that's thank you. I appreciate that. It's funny how you're always validated by whiteness, for lack of better terms. I have been grinding and showing up and being excellent for a long time. It's just the reality of what I've been able to do. Praise God. And it wasn't until really when I got the Emmy nomination that the call started to come the other way around. But I had already
hmm
written two pieces of work that was extremely important to me. And that is, I wrote the play that King Ester actually comes from, Inevitable Sadness of All Things Good. I finally did my feature film version of that. And it's basically
hmm
about a hood dude in New Orleans trying to start a church as Hurricane Katrina's coming to town. I also
okay.
wrote a pilot that I'm really excited about. I'm working with
hmm
Chris Hicks at Disrupt Media, as well as Andy Frazier and Kaylee Pontanano at a really good home pictures called Last Name Unknown. And it's about a genius artist who is in the youth shelter system and his emergence to his success and his truth as a creative. So I'm working on that as well.
Wow.
I've recently been
Wow.
tasked with pitching a couple of projects that have already been written. This is my first time ever having to do something like that, which is its own challenge. So, I'm just out here really just trying to get a check. I actually was about to ask you for like a Venmo for $5. So I'm just out here.
Yes. Yes. Wait a minute, Dewey. I'm like, should I give the Cash App now or later? Yes. So
No,
I
I'm playing.
understand.
I'm playing. I'm playing. God is good.
I understand.
I'm
I'm
gonna hit them
not.
for this unemployment for right now. I'm gonna hit them for this unemployment though. I am all the way to July
hmm
31st.
Yes.
Reparations.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes. So somebody asked, how does it feel to have a holiday in your honor? Have you been holding out on me? Is this something I don't know?
You
And
know
what is your
what? That
Cash App? Somebody did ask that too. Okay.
I get. Listen, and it's so interesting. I welcome the accolades, but I'm also incredibly shy about them. I'm
hmm
incredibly shy about them. And you
hmm
don't know this, but it happened at BronzeLens Film Festival.
What?
Yes, August 12th, I got a key to the city in Atlanta, Georgia. And that is Dui. That's Dui Jarrod Day.
You didn't tell me. What?
Yes, I think that's the day. I have to go look it up. I got this big commendation. Some city council members came by. Judge Hatchett, who was in her office. Yeah, like there's a day in Atlanta that is Dui Jarrod Day, and I should
You
do
know what?
something there on that day. But yeah,
I'm going to have to go back and find that and put it on the calendar so that I know, okay, you know, just like anything else that pops up, okay, this is Dui Jarrod Day. I love
it's
it.
literally registered with the city. There's a day that is Dui Jarrod Day in Atlanta.
Okay, all right, we're going to find that.
We're going
We're
to
going to
find that
find
day.
that.
I need to
We're going to
find
find that.
it.
There's a day that's registered for me. I think it's February 22nd or something like that, you know, for CD I did years ago. But forget me. How does being creative during this, how is it about your creativity? How are you remaining creative during this protesting period as well as COVID-19?
It's extremely difficult. I'm not even going to lie about that. Part of my creativity is all geared towards inspiration. Very seldom do I get up every day and follow a routine. Shout out to all the creators that do. I know Issa Rae is one of those creators who says she just works purely off a routine, which is wonderful. I'm not that. I always create based off inspiration. And I'm not really inspired right now, to be honest with you. I'm inspired to see a change, but more from a philosophical place, but not necessarily a creative place, and a policy place. I want to see things for African Americans be different. So when we do sit at the table, we're not dealing with no bullshit. So it's been really difficult, but at the same time, I have two really big things coming up that I have to finish writing for. And so my circadian rhythm is completely off. I mean, I was up last night till 6 in the morning. I don't know why that was. I still have things I have to do today. So it's been definitely difficult. Especially seeing so many people in pain. But what I do receive and celebrate is the fact that all of us play different roles, right? So we got our brothers and sisters out in the streets throwing hands. Shout out to them. People who are protesting in the daytime peacefully. People who, you know, God put them in to burn it down. That's their business, and I ain't mad at them. For me, I know my job is to remain vigilant in my creativity and to knock some of these doors down on this side. So it has been extremely difficult and tough. But I just get up every day. I try to get some exercise in, and I try to look forward and not necessarily backwards.
Yes, yes, and I think that is certainly good advice. I too, as I mentioned earlier, you know, I've had my creative challenges, but certainly try to just look forward. I have to. I have children. They're adults, but you know, I want them to know that you can make a change. You can change things, and what the actions are that take place can be everything from writing a song to creating a marvelous film or web series, or that whole arts creative side is still important in this struggle and in this pandemic and in this time that we're living in, because what do? We turn on music, we read a book, we are still going to those things that are from the creative side of it. Some people have put out marvelous paintings. There's a young lady online. I don't know how she does it, but the paintings are so beautiful and wonderful because you don't necessarily capture what is, but you capture what you want it to be. You know, I started to kind of see where she was going. So it is a challenge for all of us. But I'll tell you what, I've been calling people all over the country, getting folks to line up to be part of our series here. And everybody's busy. They may not be, you know, in their best creative state, but a lot of people are still very busy working on deals, collaborating, and using this time. I mean, this is the best time since, you know, for me, like being on maternity leave or something. You know, it's a great time to reach out to people that you haven't reached out to before, and a great time to see if there is some creative space that you have with someone else that will cause you to create something that you hadn't even thought about. You can feed off of each other's energy, or you can inspire someone. So I certainly don't think everybody's just sitting home. I think that a lot of people are really using this time to reflect and create in a different way. As we said earlier, it's going to be very different.
Yeah.
We're looking at that as a film festival, Dewey. How do you do it in a different way and still bring positivity and sunshine to great creative stories? Because it's just a different world. And yeah, let me leave it there. Let me leave it there. So if anybody, does anybody else have any other questions for Dewey? Because if not, we're going to let him get back to his day and just thank you so much. You know we love you, and we just couldn't be prouder. I'm so glad some of your fans could join with us today. And everything that you do, just send us a note, and we will make sure that we put it in some form of our communication. Rhea will catch up with you on social media as our social media manager. And we'll do what we can in our newsletter, but just know we're going to support you. Okay?
Thank you. I really appreciate that. I just saw a
Oh,
question from Amy, who was,
yes,
how did I land an agent?
yes.
Landing an agent is easy to do, and it's also really difficult to do. When I first got into this industry, I said I wanted the best that I could have, and not just really settle. So I have a really great management team over at Cultivate out in LA, and I got them through my work. So a lot of times people say just do the work, and when it's time, they'll find you. And I used to not really
Bobby
believe
said
that.
that last week.
You said what?
Bobby said something similar last week.
Yeah, people always say that. And when you hear it, you're like, what? No, you got to go for what you want. But it's really not the case. They will find you when it's time. And I know when I got those Emmy nominations, I immediately was hit up by several agents who were asking, was I looking for representation? And of course I am, because I have to go into the system to help dismantle the system, to rebuild the system so that I could benefit
Mm-hmm.
financially from the system.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually in talks right now for those opportunities, and we'll see what happens. But more than anything, what you need right now is not necessarily an agent. You need excellent work and people around you that believe in you. And if you have those two things, an agent will eventually come.
Oh, that's an excellent point on which to depart then. Excellent work, and
Thank
they
you
will
so
come to
much.
you.
And I
Excellent
appreciate the
work,
platform.
Dewey Jarrod.
Thank you so much.
God bless you. Bye,
You too.
everybody. Thank you so much. Tune in next week on the 10th of June when we will be with author, playwright, producer, director, Deborah Riley Draper, who is just doing, she's one of those women that we met early in the BronzeLens journey, and she's got so much going on now. New film that she's directing, award-winning documentaries. You really want to get to know her and know about her work, and she's a very wise woman as well. So join us next week, 2 o'clock on IG Live for BronzeLens Live. And thank you, everybody. Be safe out there. Take care of yourselves and your families. Thank you. Bye.